Welcome back to all our friends, family, and yes, even our foes. To the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, where Todd and his sports-passionate kids are ready to bring you the latest updates and insights on all things sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
You're stepping into the Foxx Den, where passions run wild, the takes run hotter, and the skulk rolls deep. I'm your host, Todd Foxx, the Podfather, and with me tonight are my crew of chaos. We've got Kellen, the dog, unleashing hot takes like a linebacker chasing down a quarterback. We got Garrett, the calm in the storm, always ready to drop dimes when the pressure's on. The clutch shooter of the mic. We got Gannon bringing the fire and finesse, the 2-minute drill king with a quick wit and sharper stats. We're here to hunt down the biggest stories, tear down the hottest debates, and celebrate the savage spirit of sports. This isn't just a podcast, folks. No, it is a movement. So lace up, lock in, and join the scope, because this is the Foxx Den. So, gentlemen, let's get into it. Got a lot to talk about, but first, I got a couple things. Garrett, you got something coming up here pretty quick in 10 days, maybe 11, 12? I don't know.
I think we're down to 12.
12 days now. Like 12 days of Gary.
Wrong. Yeah.
12 days of Gary or 12 days of Sydney Grace, something like that. So yeah, we got that coming aboard, and we will all be there. I know, Kellen, you get in town. You and Gannon both get in town when next week.
Wednesday, I believe.
Now, are you guys meeting somewhere and flying together here? Is that right, or no? Did you ever figure that out?
Our connecting flights are both in St. Louis, so we'll be on the same flight from St. Louis to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma City. Be pretty sweet. And then Gannon, you are back in San Antonio. Feels like you probably never left.
It
You're
does.
Back.
Yeah, it
You're
does.
there. Long drive. But
it does feel like you left, or it doesn't feel like you left?
Does not feel like I left.
Yeah. So you just started back at the church there, so that's awesome. Good job there. So that's kind of what's going on in the Fox world. And then anything with me, man, if I'd have to have a separate podcast for all I got going on. But all right, let's talk about Game 4, the Oklahoma City Thunder 128-126 victory over the Timberwolves. Now we're up 3-1. Got a series lead 3-1. SGA had a near triple-double, 40 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. J-Dub was incredible, and he was awesome. 6 3-pointers, 34 points total. Chet, 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks. So, man, they were on fire. They looked good, I thought. And I told your mom, and I told several people, and I've got text threads to prove it. Buddy of mine, Darren, also. I had this weird calmness going into that game and watching the game. I really did. I don't know why, but it was calm. Like, I wasn't worried about it at all. I thought that we were going to win. We're going to take care of business. And it's the stunning to me that it transpired the way it did, because I was not concerned. The only time I was concerned was towards the end, and we'll get into that here a little bit, but whenever Shai missed that free throw that could have put us up by 4, I was like, oh no, what happened? I'm like, what are you doing? So, but speaking of that, so Kellen, we'll start with you. How did SGA's performance, in your opinion, set the tone for the Thunder in this critical game?
I mean, it just shows that he's ready to take charge any game whenever needed. Like, this guy could be putting up 40 or 50 points a game if he wanted to, but he trusts his team around him. But whenever we need him to put up the points, he will put up the points. He'll come in clutch. He'll put the team on his back, because it was really 3 players that performed well in the scoring department this game. And he led the charge and did what needed to be done. Because, I mean, it looked like we were in control pretty much that whole game, but it's like when you get to a 2-point game at the very end, every basket mattered. So he did what had to be done, and yeah, he's just greatest on the planet.
Definitely. Garrett, what about J-Dub? What impact did J-Dub's shooting have on the game's outcome?
I mean, I think we finally saw one of our role players take that position that has beaten us over and over and over again the last, I mean, however many years you want to say, that we finally have that solid number 2 that you can rely on. I think Shai, like Kellen said, he could go and get the buckets, but I don't care how good he played, and he played amazing last night. He wasn't going to win that game by himself. So that's whenever J-Dub finally stepped up, and I mean, you mentioned it, and I've seen it all over. I mean, he was hitting shot after shot after shot down the end of the game, and to the point where I'm like, surely that one's not going to go in too, because I mean, NBA players, but Minnesota did the same thing. Multiple of their guys hit shot after shot, and we just were able to match him, and that was because of J-Dub. And I think, he was comfortable, and by the end of it, I mean, you saw his last 2 or 3 buckets, he was just smiling when he was going down the court, because I think he was just having fun out there. He really was. And it's nice to see, him have such success and finally get some publicity for his performance, because I know a lot of people, for whatever reason, I mean, he's had some down games this playoffs, but he's definitely established himself as a premier number 2 option.
100%. I agree. After the performance he had, I think it was game 6 against Denver, and he didn't have the greatest series against Denver, but there was a lot of just negative talk about him here in OKC. Not I shouldn't say a lot, but you know how it is. The negative people seem to call in on all the sports shows and things like that. But man, he was on fire, and it's so good for him. And then that takes a lot of pressure off of SGA as well. I mean, he helped create space for sure by hitting in the middle by hitting all those shots. Gannon, talk about Holmgren real quick, and what ways did his presence influence both ends of the court?
First off, to go on top of everything they already said, those 3 combined for 34 of our 38 points in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
Which is not like what we should have to require of them, but we did last night, and they secured it. And I thought that was fascinating. Of course, his 3-point shooting throughout the entire game was huge. He only took 4 of them, but they were all just like quick release. He didn't hesitate. One thing that's been frustrating is we've hesitated on so many shots when we're open. If you have a half second to pull the trigger, you got to pull it a lot of the time on the 3-point line. And then the one that he missed in the fourth quarter, he got or somebody else, I can't remember who it was, got the ball, and he had that dunk just screaming down the lane. And then he had that one block with about, I want to say 36 seconds left, maybe.
Yeah. Gobert.
McDaniels had a terrific spin around him, and that recovery, it had to be perfect, and it was perfect. And he played absolutely phenomenal. And I think it's very exciting to think about that he's doing this, and he's not even close to, I would say, his prime, but also he's not even in form. Like his play at the start of the season before his hip injury was even better. So considering all of that, the fact that he was able to play like that last night was unreal on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, he looked really good. And then remember that one foul that they called on him, and then they said review it, and we won that challenge. He went straight up. Guy was he was incredible. And that block.
Oh my goodness!
That was an incredible block right there at the end, and I'm so happy that because he didn't foul him, but sometimes officials seem to call it like how they think they may have saw it, but they didn't call it, and which was fantastic. And
9 times out of 10, it's a foul.
Yeah.
So,
but no, that was really, really good to see, and that takes a lot of pressure off SGA when these other guys are stepping up. That's pretty cool. Let's talk about how they responded to adversity, because game 3, that was absolute garbage. They came out, they scored the first 2 baskets, about 4-0, and then after that was about it. And Minnesota seemed like they couldn't miss anything. We lost by 42 points, made some adjustments from the coach, Dagnall, and also improved our defensive strategies to help contain them for game 4. But what specific adjustments did you guys see us make after the game 3 blowout?
First off, I'll say I slept like a baby that night whenever we lost by 42.
Yeah.
Because you saw my text about how when a team goes up 2-0, they lose game 3 in the conference finals. They lose game 3 65% of the time, and the series is lost after going up 2-0 8% of the time.
Same thing happened in New York.
That game 3 was a scheduled loss. We're recording this, let's see, about an hour before Indiana game 4. They're going to win game 4.
Who is?
Indiana. It's not
Okay.
going to be, yeah.
Okay.
And so it was a scheduled loss. I wasn't worried about it at all. So that also was not really worried last night, like you were talking about at the start. But the adjustments-wise, we pressured him, Edwards, on 100% of his drives. There was a help defender, which was huge, and we switched off of the double big for most of the game, so it was just one or the other, which was good because when you do that, we could switch off of every screen, so he didn't have an open pull-up 3, but he also didn't have an easy blow-by, and this is all talking about Edwards. So that defensive adjustment changed everything, and then if he's slow and not hitting his shots, which he barely even shot at all, it tightens up the rest of the offense, and they had 3 role players shoot out of their mind, but I mean, we just had to live with that a couple times, and it almost hurt us. But specifically, the switch to where, like I said, on a screen, we could just switch every time, no matter who had the ball, no matter who was screening. So that way, Edwards was always covered. He always had a hand on him or a guy on him, and that was the biggest
too.
adjustment.
With that, that's one thing coming into the season that we're finally see form. Is like whenever we joked again before the season, like, oh, do you want Dort guarding you? Do you want Caruso guarding you? Do you want Wallace guarding you? And even at that point, Shai, we're finally seeing that, like Gannon said, you're going to switch. You're not switching to a worse defender. You're switching to a guy who is also, from a lot of people's standpoint,
in his own
if they would
way,
have played enough games, a first-team defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we're finally seeing that. And I think we saw it through the season, but everyone's finally seeing it to where, we're defensive team caliber 1 through 5. If Chet's on the floor playing the 5.
How did you guys see mentality shift between the two games? Because the game 3, I could tell early on. I think we all could. We were just sloppy, making some really poor passes, bad decisions, and then to see the mentality shift to game 4. How did you see that?
I mean, I think they mentioned it. They didn't come into game 3 with the right intensity at all, especially in an away environment. That crowd is not fueling you like a home crowd is. You're not getting excited with the crowd or anything like that. So I think that's number one. So I think the way you start off these games are, almost as big as the way you finish, obviously. But yeah, I think the intensity wasn't there. And I think we finally, game 4, we saw it. So, and I will say on that note, every single player, both sides on that court was exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of that thing, they were gassed. And Richard Jefferson said it perfectly. Like, if you see a guy on the court who's not sitting there, like, hand on his knees during a timeout or anything, he shouldn't be there because this is the biggest game of all their careers at this point. Yeah. And so, you got to put everything out there, whether it's a game 4 or game 7. You got to put it all out. And you definitely saw Shai do it. You definitely saw J-Dub do it. And
they had more minutes than usual, didn't they?
Shai and J-Dub.
Yeah, I think Shai had over 40.
He had 40, yeah. Williams had 39, so that is more than...
usually they're in, the low 30s because we're so deep. But, this game which I've been waiting for. I've been wanting a game where it's we know Shai can do it. He just never has to do it. But I've wanted to see a 40-minute Shai game just to be, make sure... I assumed he could do it, but just to confirm, because come finals time, you never know. We might need him to, you had Jokic playing 44, 45 minutes against us because he had to. He had no other choice.
And you saw what happened. 40-point, nearly triple-double.
Exactly.
Efficient scoring and solid defense.
That was one of the most flawless games you'll ever see out of a player in that big of a moment. And by big, I mean not just a big game, but you're the best player on the court, best player in the league, and you had to play, like I said, near perfection to win this game, and he did that. So I think it's one of the most impressive games in the last how many years.
It makes it harder, too, when that defense is their
very good
focus is to stop you and stop what you're doing. And, again, to that note, he still had a perfect game.
Because usually you rest when Shai goes on, beautiful. You rest your good defenders. You rest Ant. It's when he's on the bench, you're all right, give everybody a break. When he's on for 40 minutes, the guys that are supposed to be your Shai stoppers are drained as well.
Yeah. Did you guys see too? This is a side note, but what he said about the away crowd after the game,
I heard something. I can't remember what it was. What was
Somebody asked him like how he felt about kind of being like the villain almost in an away game like this, and he said it's up there with a home game.
it? He loves that kind of stuff.
He was about to
was
say
awesome.
he said it was about to say it's better. Then he caught himself. He's like, yeah, I won't say better. But
Yeah.
he's like, we like being the villain. We like going in there and
I love it.
everyone's yelling at you and screaming different things, and you're just there to ruin their night. And
Yeah.
Oh, it's the greatest.
Yeah.
Because you notice
So
like
one
the boos every time he touched the ball going down a little bit
Oh,
throughout
yeah.
the game. Like the more he
Every
keeps
time.
scoring, it's just
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
so sick and tired of the whole Merchant thing. I mean, you saw late game when Nikhil was guarding him. He had that pull up. It was minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes.
He fouled
Hits clear wrist before the ball's even out of his hands.
almost
And
four
Nikhil's
even.
screaming, like telling him to review. All the fans are booing. Boo even after they show the replay in the arena. And I'm
Well, you
like,
heard-
what?
You
you
remember
got Doris
Richardson's
freaking
Jefferson
Yeah,
slapping her
saying,
guns.
100% it's a foul. Like everybody's say that again.
Like Doris Burks is over there yapping about it, being like, that's why they call him the merchant, the free throw merchant. She has no clue. And then like
Well,
Richard Jefferson's like, he's like, I average like 8 free throws a game a few times, and like when people did the research, he averaged 9.8 in his 1 year, and Shai's averaging 9.2, and that's not even that much compared to all the past MVPs. It's just a narrative.
If you talk to an actual player, because I saw another interview, it was with Trey Murphy. I don't know if you guys saw it. He's a good defender for New Orleans, I think.
Yes,
They
he's
asked
one of
him-
the best defenders on him actually in the league.
Yeah,
he's
they asked,
very
like,
impressive.
how do you guard it in? Like, how do you actually go about stopping Shai? And he was like, well, one, you can't, but he's at sometimes you could call it a flopping, but he said it. He's like, every single player in the league flops. You're playing the
Sure.
game, the game within the game.
It's
And
part of
he
the rule.
knows how to use his body. He's not just flopping without contact. He's getting hit, and he's still able to hit the shots, which is just beyond me.
There's
But-
a difference between like
I
you've
say
seen
that because
LeBron
if you
do it,
ask
you've seen
any-
Brunson. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, I say that because you ask any player about it, they are behind it. They don't disagree. They don't say it's the killing basketball and they can't watch the game. Like, they love the way it's played. And I don't think they'll disagree that at some point the NBA might need to change things, because we've seen that. And that's a big topic too, is like you said, with the LeBron James and the Hardens and stuff like that, they have had to change certain rules and add a certain, change the definition of a foul
But
to
you'll
avoid
see
players to continue to do that. But
there's still a difference between people like LeBron, Luka, Brunson. Like you'll see them flop without being touched. Shai is initiating contact, and he's still probably going to make it. Like there's a different type of free throw that he's getting, and it's still earned rather than like he's flopping, he's being an actor, making it look all good. Like he's actually getting touched. He might help initiate it a little bit, but there's just a different type of flop.
and that's one thing that's driving me up a wall right now is all the people in the comments. They're all of a sudden now they're saying it's not about the quantity, it's about how he's getting it. Dude drives more than anybody in the NBA.
Yeah, that's right. That's
You're
how you get fouls.
yeah.
He drives more than
exactly.
anybody in history.
That's the only reason I'm like, okay, yeah, Jokic looked like he flopped, but he was sitting there 1-on-3 in the paint. So what are you gonna do? I mean, and everyone said Giannis was getting tackled in the paint. So was Shai. We saw Shai get shoved in the back on that last play of the game last night. Nothing
There's a
called,
ton of them where
probably
he's
good
not
things,
getting
but
the call.
exactly.
Sure.
Anyways, yeah, we could go on forever about that.
No.
that
Everybody
whole
knows
topic
it.
alone.
They're just mad because this team's come out of nowhere. To the people
Well,
that
I'm
didn't get a
confused.
watch because we're not on national television.
Yeah,
Sure.
we get 4 games a year.
Why were they booing him?
Change. They're
Because,
just-
well, I mean, I get it, I guess, because in some sense, but also like there's zero, honestly, rivalry. Like,
He's the
it's
greatest
not like he
player on
said
the
anything
planet.
bad about anybody. But you don't just boo players just because they're great. Like,
It's
When
the same
they're
thing
gonna
with
kill
them
your team,
screaming
you're trying to-
free
you're
throw
trying to
at
get in their
Merchant.
head.
They hate him. Yeah,
yeah, I think that's
they
what
no,
it is.
but
They're
they
trying-
do not like.
They're,
him
they're,
now.
but-
they don't
but
realize
nobody. New York didn't boo Halliburton. Indiana didn't boo Brunson. We didn't boo
I
Edwards.
don't
Like,
think you,
I'm not saying it's wrong or like why did they shouldn't have done it. I'm just surprised because he honestly has zero correlation with them at all.
Yeah.
I
but
just
I
don't
love
think
it.
you realize how
But
big.
That's my thing.
Think about it. Well, that alone, yes.
No, I do. I'm just like for a team or an entire fan base in an arena to boo one player, only one specific player, without any word or correlation at all. I don't know if I've ever seen that. It was just super weird.
I mean,
'Cause
we've
he's
seen it.
bigger.
We've seen. I know for a fact Harden used to get booed quite a bit
Oh, yeah.
too. But I think to kind of go off of what you said, like they're not booing Brunson or Halliburton or whatever. Those guys are not doing. They're not single-handedly beating your team.
I was
You're
just meaning
telling me-
the best player of each team.
Yeah,
But,
you're telling
right.
me
You're
last year if you went to a game and Luka had the ball, you're not booing him.
Oh,
I mean,
couldn't stand
100%.
that.
But that was a little different though because he was frustrating to watch.
But that's
And people
what
are,
that's
for some
but
reason,
put
frustrated to
ourselves
watch
in
it.
those. Yeah, people are frustrated now.
It was
Obviously, We're
different.
on the
it's
other
completely
side.
different
this
now.
time.
I'll tell you.
It was
I get
Luka
it.
was
Yes, but
okay. Yeah.
And you
But
guys,
it's
we-
the
we-
narrative now.
Luka's over there.
Free throw narrative. It's just the
Yeah,
narrative
that's
that they've
what
been
they're
pushing that
grasping
people are
right
buying
now.
into without actually watching or knowing ball.
Well, I'll tell you, like Luka was always over there, during timeouts, huddling with officials, complaining. Your mom pointed it out because we went to game 2, and there were several Timberwolves players. Remember that, Gannon? That were during a couple of the timeouts that were just talking. Instead of being in their huddle, they're over there complaining to the refs, and it's like we're in their head at that point. We got them.
And if I was
Hold
a
on,
ref,
Gannon,
I'm not going to
There we
rig
go.
a
Same-
game. I'm not going to rig a game, but I'm going to be a little nicer to the team that's not in my face all day.
I got
the
news for you.
respectful
I'd be
team.
teeing them up, man. Yeah.
Did you already see what the coach was saying too? After last night's game, he's already making these comments. I think it's hilarious, and it was funny because, Finch, you pointed out that at game 2, like every time they fouled, they showed him on the jumbotron, and he was always just either shaking his head or looking like he had like
Every time.
some reason why it shouldn't have been. I think it's just hilarious. Like a coach at the top of his game still can't get it out of his mind.
The Timberwolves have shot more
guys-
free throws than us anyway, so it's only like 2 or 3 more, I think. But still, it's like
Still.
More.
even if it was
Still
2
more
less,
wins
it's
that
like
year.
it's even enough that none of us are complaining. Like, just
Oh,
everybody calm down.
Well, they're
Alright.
shooting more free throws, but fouling less too, which is the crazy thing to me.
Yeah,
But
it's just
same
because
thing
he
with Denver,
shoots most
but-
of ours.
Yeah.
Because last night we only had 21, he had 14 of them, so that's why they're all saying it. Anyways,
Well, one
Well,
thing with that, I hate that nobody factors in that whenever we're winning, we're going to get him the ball, and there's an automatic 4 right there. But I guess this really
I
has nothing
agree.
to do
No,
with
I
the
agree.
game. But
I
did you
agree.
guys see whenever he got that final rebound and chucked it out of bounds? When
Yeah.
that fan caught it, did you
Yeah.
guys see Shai's reaction?
yeah, he was
He
like,
was saying,
came
just
up to
smart
the fan.
play.
And he was like, looking at him, he's like, "That's a smart play." I'm like,
Yeah.
no other player in the heat of the moment at the Western Conference Finals
Can just
is
smile.
just gonna be like, dude, like talking to a fan, like, dude, that was smart. Like,
It's the same
no
energy
shot.
at
That thing hits
Yeah.
the floor, it's game over because there's no way there's time on the clock.
It's the same energy as Game 3 against Denver at the end when he's smiling and we go and win 2 straight. It's like he's just not sweating.
He is not worried.
And
well,
I
also
think that's why he's so
smart
good,
play to
because
throw
he's
that out of
not-
bounds.
He's not stressed at all.
It was smart, but if for whatever reason Gobert read that, he's hitting that ball.
Gobert ain't
He
reading
jumps.
nothing.
Or
Gobert
if that was
ain't
a
reading
no,
nothing.
if it was a better inbound pass, I was really worried about him getting fouled by Hartenstein. But it was fine.
Yeah, they almost
It didn't matter.
all the fans were screaming to tee up Hartenstein. Yeah.
No, it didn't matter. Let's talk about the final stretch, like some clutch moments. The Thunder's execution in the closing minutes to secure that win. Maybe some key plays and decisions that impacted the game's outcome. The Minnesota's attempts to rally against us, but came short because if you looked at it, we were in control, and then we would go up by 7, 8, 9. I think maybe I want to say 11 at one point, but I don't remember. But then they would close in on us. Then we get back in a lead, and they close in. So they never could take over. But which play stood out in the final minute to you guys as game changers?
I know we're all thinking the same one. It's got to be the falling down Shai. Under
Kept his
the
pivot
legs.
foot.
That ball doesn't even touch the floor until the end,
Yeah.
but kept the pivot foot. It just hits J-Dub Oh my gosh.
Was that not
I
crazy?
was freaking out.
When
And the fact that, I mean, the fans were like, they were screaming. And then, again, Richard Jefferson pulls up the replay. He's like, that pivot foot never moved. And he's like,
Yeah.
those Converse got some good grip on him. And I know they got some shoes sold from that right
Yeah.
there. But,
Guaranteed.
I mean, and yeah, I loved his, like, I mean, I don't even know how we knew what to do with it because if you watch it in real time, half a second. That's what
It's
he
so
had.
fast.
And he's able to get enough on it to get it to him
get it up too,
accurately.
get it to a good
Exactly.
like pocket
It's not like
catch.
it's rolling, and it gets it to him, and he's like, just I mean, he is watching that shot the whole way too. I'm like, and that
It's
was one of those
one
ones.
that's always
Jada was
so
just
good
smiling
that the
as he was
shot's
going back down
going
the
to go
court.
in.
Yeah.
Like,
Had
you know,
to.
like one of those
You
insane
knew
passes
that
where
one
it's
was
like,
going in.
like it's like, you know, like back in the day, a Curry behind the back pass. You knew the guy in the corner was drilling it because it was just like it was too clean not
Drilling
to.
it, yeah.
It was the same thing right there. It was just like you knew that
And the
shot was
way
going
the
in.
announcers are announcing it, yeah, the way the
When-
announcers are hyping it up, you're like, that's got to drop.
Whenever he shot that, like, because we got the switch onto Gobert, which I don't know why they did that, and you could see McDaniels was visibly
Daniels was mad,
frustrated.
yeah.
But then he did kind of sell on the help defense. But yeah, he was mad. Shai gets Gobert like bouncing on one foot if you watch that back, and then everybody thinks he's shooting it. Why wouldn't he? But yeah, I don't know how he kept that pivot foot. But whenever you make a shot like that, like there's no doubt that the team is just like they're present in that game. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was funny because
Yeah.
I think that had to be the shot I think anybody in the world would reference in that question.
I have no idea how he kept the pivot foot other than I think like it's just one of those in that moment he's just so like
Well,
in a zone.
But that's what I was
And
gonna
some
say.
of the trainings he does
But while you're
over
falling,
the off season,
how
you
do
see like
just-
some of the balance trainings he does. He trains for that, like that kind of thing. I saw his video even 20 minutes or probably 45 minutes ago. The way he's like holding this weight and moving it back and forth, I'm like, I guess that's how he keeps his balance 24/7. But
how while you're going to the
Unreal.
ground like that, are you even mentally thinking, keep that one foot, don't let that thing move? Like
I
While
don't
you have
know.
a
if
seven
I'm
I
going
don't
down,
know.
I'm just like,
behind you and,
I'm
like, a
going down
6'7"
thinking, man,
guy
I
in
just
front.
turned the ball over. Let me catch myself. Like,
Well, even if he rolled it to Williams, that would have been like fair enough. That's the best you can do. But like Gary said, that the tiny detail of getting under and it lifts up to right where the pocket is, unreal. And then pretty quick after that, maybe a minute, I'm not sure, but that block that I already mentioned about Chet, that was, yeah, those two plays were just perfect.
But another
But we-
one too, and I think this was after the under the leg was the next J-Dub 3, whatever. I don't know what Naz Reid was thinking, but he stepped way out. Shai from
Yes.
the right
Yes.
wing chucks it to the corner, and J-Dub just sinks it. I'm
And
like,
it was the exact setup that we had against Denver. I don't know if Daddy remember me pointing that out to you when we watched the replay, but you can see them too scheming something up as he dribbles it up the court, and that exact movement of Kiki kind of was like on the wing, and then he fades into the corner, and yeah, I don't know what Reed was doing either, but money is what it was.
So what does this game's finish tell us about the Thunder's poise under pressure?
Like Mark said, nothing.
I don't disagree. I don't think it necessarily proves anything other than we only lost those Denver games because we hadn't had those games in a long time.
True.
And we
Good point.
finally did. So
Yeah.
And at that point, I think that's where I'm much more confident now that I don't think we've lost a close game since. I'll say that. So, which I guess you could say that because we've won like two close games in a row. But anyways, I think I'd take us on the final 2 minutes over anyone within a couple points.
I'd take us down 5 with 2 minutes left.
I think it just highlights our growth and confidence. Just showing we can handle high pressure situations and effectively too, for sure, definitely. What else? So we're up 3-1. We got a game tomorrow night at home. Obviously, there's going to be some adjustments for each team. I personally think the Thunder are going to close it out tomorrow night. Is there anything we should focus on to just close out this series, or is it just do your thing?
I think just do our thing. I think that's what we didn't do in Game 3 was do our thing. We protected the ball and we forced turnovers, and that got in our head that we were missing shots. If we just go out there and do our thing, play incredible defense and transition defense, and if we do our thing, we win. We just have to focus on us.
I think just be kind of like we're on top of what Kellen said. I think just be steady and resilient because we're going to go up by 15 at one point with the role player fluctuation of home and away. We're going to go up by 15. Just stay steady. You don't need to just keep that lead. You don't need to try to make it bigger. Just keep playing. And I think if we do that, I could see us winning by 12 plus pretty easily.
I kind of think of it's going to be kind of like Game 7 was with Oklahoma City and Denver, where it was a little bit close maybe at the beginning, and then we're just once it's in Minnesota's head that it's over.
We were just more excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started setting the Jokic and all those guys, so it'll be fantastic. I cannot wait. I do know that we will be opening right afterwards. Where I work, I will be opening up. I have to actually close tomorrow night now, so I'm going to be watching the game from work with the several of us and getting a bunch of T-shirts ready because we will be ready to open at 6601 Southwest 3rd Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The Dick's Sporting Goods is where we're going to be. And the House of Sport will open as well here in town and close to Edmond. And the one in Moore, and then the Tulsa House of Sport. We're all opening up right after the game, and then we will open up all of us at 7 a.m. the next day. So, hey, just giving you all a heads up. There's a couple things I want to talk about. One being, this is a question I have. So, before the podcast, we'll send out the invites, okay? Well, I get a text message that just says INV ? I have no idea what I was like, inventory? Like, what
do you think he's talking about?
I had no idea.
It's
you could
10
put
minutes before the podcast.
3 extra letters, ITE, invite. You had no idea.
That's so full.
INV?
I
looked it up. I looked it up on Google. I'm like, INV? What does that mean? I mean,
it didn't tell you?
Yeah, it said inventory and stuff like that's what it said.
I think you might be the minority here of all the listeners and us.
I'm something, so definitely for sure. All right, so I've got some questions for you guys. And Gannon, you may like this one even though you didn't drive as far, but here's my question for you. First one. Would you rather have to eat nothing but a gas station hot dog for a month or be stuck on a road trip with no music for 24 hours?
Road trip, 24
road
hours.
Trip.
No music.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't listen to music on half my drives anyway.
What do you do? Listen to podcasts or something, or
nothing? When I drove to Missouri,
let's just say no
my
media.
car last time, 15-hour drive, no music. Got up at 1 a.m., nothing. Didn't listen to anything for 15 hours. Just me, myself, and my thoughts.
Yeah, that's
kind of crazy.
Yeah. I can't do that.
Just raw dogging that drive.
Fantastic. Garrett, did you ever answer what you would do?
Yeah, I do the music.
Music. Okay. All right, and then the final question, and then it's kind of got a little different questions I'm going to ask a little bit afterwards. But would you rather the Thunder win the 2025 title or play at Augusta Golf Course in Georgia?
Me play?
Ain't nobody want to see me on that course, and I don't either. I'm taking the Thunder.
Okay. Would you?
I'd probably go more than that.
Would you
Gannon was
rather
plus 40 through like 7 on a simulator?
Would you rather the Thunder win the 2025 title, or you get a lifetime gift card to either your favorite, like your favorite restaurant or favorite fast food joint or wherever? Which one?
So we're just switching up the question now?
Thunder.
I'm going to be honest with you right now. There's not a whole lot of things I would choose over this title right now. Now, if you asked me at the beginning of the year,
things he would do to make sure we win this.
It was very similar to how I said I do my drafts.
Okay. So, would you rather the Thunder win the 2025 title or $100,000 tax free?
$100,000.
I don't. Out there and work for some money. I'm not getting no free money that I didn't earn.
Well, here's the thing: does that mean it's a
Shai
guaranteed no
Gilgeous-Alexander
title? Because there's nothing that needs to be guaranteed for us to win this. Because we'll win either way. So I'm assuming that.
If I take the $100,000, or is it just leaving it up to chance? Because I like the chance.
It's no chance this year, anyway.
Well, then that's just unrealistic.
All right, so let me ask you this.
I'm taking the title because I don't want to think what happened to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for them not to win that thing.
Okay. What about $500,000 or a title?
Yeah,
tax
give me
free.
the 5.
I don't think players would even.
What'd you say? You would pick the title?
Okay, first off, who's offering me this money, and how do I know the guarantees? Is this like a genie in the bottle type deal?
Sure. It's a genie in the bottle.
I'm going to tweet, and I'm going to go viral, and I'm going to be like, hey, Shai, I had the opportunity of taking $500,000 or you guys winning the title. I chose title. They're probably going to hook me up with like $1 million after that because I allowed them to win. If I went viral and it was proof that it was true, either way, I'm taking title.
You're thinking way too hard on that question for me.
Because I'm trying to tell you why I'm choosing title.
Wow.
I'm not taking $500,000 that I didn't earn. They earned this.
I'll take it. I don't care if I earned it or not. I'm taking it. Somebody gives me 500 G's. Then I got me some season tickets and watch them win 26, 27, 20.
I may not see that money in my life ever.
Oh, I've seen it, but it's been gone. All right. What else? Anything else going on this week? The Pacers and Knicks. Honestly, the Knicks should have won the first two, and Indiana should have won the last one. But it's funny how it all works out that way.
Well, yes. That's well said. It's well said.
Ain't it? It's great stuff.
No
Foxx
lead
Den
is
Sports
safe.
Podcast. No lead is ever safe. As the Foxx Den Podcast, we'd like to thank all of our listeners for listening or watching to our YouTube channel, Foxx Den Sports Podcast. I want to thank everybody for that. We know you got a lot going on. We will be next week. So here's the thing. The finals start Wednesday, June 5th. So if we win this thing tomorrow, we still, like our podcast next week, we should be talking about who we're going to be playing in the finals, Indiana or New York. I'm guessing Garrett or Gannon, one of you all said Indiana. You think Indiana is going to take the whole thing on that side? And I don't want to sit there and get into who would I rather play because we got to first take care of business, but at the same point, last time I said that, Denver gave me game 7 of really hard stress. So I don't really want to say who I'd rather play. Although I would tell you, I personally think New York would be cool to watch because of the being all those TV sets up in New York. But Gannon, what do you say to that?
If you're not like an NBA executive, you should not give a singular care about any kind of rating. It'd be cool for the players to win in New York, but ratings-wise, I think
don't
that's
care
the
about
dumbest thing ever.
ratings, but seeing them, like, what is it, Madison Square Garden, like them out there, like that's what an epic place to go because we're gonna sweep them. So it's game 4.
Overrated.
We just crush them there.
Gannon says that, but I want the most millions of people as much possible watching us whoop them.
I
I
agree.
Well, it's
don't
not gonna
want
happen.
freaking 3 million people watching from Indiana watching us beat them. I
Usually-
want 45, 50 million from New York getting their butts whooped by a small market team.
I would rather have people see it more than not. But what I'm saying is, like, when it comes to who I want to play or thinking about the matchup, the numbers wise should have zero influence.
I think it should because of the fact that but other than that, it doesn't matter. We're gonna beat either team, so that's
Exactly.
why it doesn't matter. I'd rather sit there and watch on the court against Brunson, Bridges, Towns, those guys instead of
I want to see
Halliburton.
Timothy Chalamet on the
We're
sideline.
and Halliburton's already nothing.
Spike Lee.
We're gonna.
Spike Lee.
I think we're gonna smoke them in 5. It'll be the same process of 2-0, 2-1, 4-1.
All right. Well, that's about it. So I'd like to remind everybody that iron sharpens iron. Please stay safe, be savage and not average, and remember to join the skulk. And what else, Kellen?
Stay thirsty, my friends.
Stay thirsty, my friends. And until next time, goodbye, everybody. Thunder. Boomer. Thunder.
Thank you for listening to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, Foxx Den Sports. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Foxx Den Sports and on Facebook at Foxx Den Sports Podcast. You can also email us at foxdensports@yahoo.com. This has been Foxx Den Sports.